Powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to another edition, a winning edition of Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Continue to help the station grow. UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Nation, Minnesota Vikings Nation, whatever nation you feel like you belong to, the Minnesota Vikings are 10-2. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? The Minnesota Vikings 10-2, pulling one out against the Arizona Cardinals. And listen, man, I know it wasn't pretty. We're not Picassos. We're not trying to paint masterpieces here. We're just trying to win. We're just trying to win ball games. So I will take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day of the week. And KOC and the boys are getting the job done. 23-22 over the Arizona Cardinals. Now, let me start by this when I'm talking about the purple and the Minnesota Vikings. And all of you guys out there that are Minnesota Viking fans, you know what I'm talking about. You can feel it kind of in the pit of your stomach, man. And I'm telling you, these games, I tell you, I shave all my hair off so you can't see the grays. And if I had hair, I would probably be pulling it out with some of these games, man. Some of these games are driving me nuts, but I'm glad that the Minnesota Vikings are pulling these things out. This team seems to be a little bit different. And I know we had the season a couple years ago where we were finding ways to win these single-digit games, one-score games, whatever title you want to put on them. But this is just a little bit different, man. These guys are going after it, and different individuals at different times are making plays to win the game. You're watching them. You see it. People criticize Sam Darnold. Man, I've been a critiquer of Sam Darnold during points of this season. Sam Darnold has proven time in and time out that he can make plays down the stretch. Isn't that a little bit different than what Kirk Cousins used to do for the Minnesota Vikings? Remember the check down in the playoff game against the New York Giants where he threw the ball shorter than what we needed for the first down to TJ Hawkinson? Man, I just don't get that feeling from Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold would throw an interception trying to get the first down. I mean, his decision-making down the stretch now in multiple games has just been absolutely stellar. Whether you are a fan of Sam Darnold or not, the guy is putting it down right now. He is putting it down when the Minnesota Vikings need him the most. He makes the best throws. He seems to be comfortable in his own skin in these type of situations. No hesitation, no worries, no anxiety. He lets it rip. And he seems to always make plays. Does this say something about the Vikings? You know, sometimes when you have a glass of water that's halfway full of water by volume, some people look at it as half empty. Some people look at it as half full. I'm sure you've heard that before. Is the Minnesota Vikings struggling in some of these games and finding ways to win a good thing? Now, from a fan standpoint, an entertainment standpoint, you know, I've been on here several times saying, can they put 4 quarters together? I would still like to see them put 4 quarters together. From an entertainment standpoint, we've got the weapons and the defense to be able to do that. For whatever reason, we don't do that week in and week out. But does it say something about this team that we have a lot of resolve? I mean, the resolve of this team is absolutely fantastic. Put your comments, put your statements in the comments, man. Do you believe what you're watching? Whenever we need a play defensively, offensively, how many times this year have we ended a game with an interception? When we needed a key play on the defense, somebody somewhere comes up with something. On the offensive end, Sam Darnold is letting the thing rip down the field. Key pass to TJ Hawkinson down the stretch. Key pass to Jordan Addison down the stretch. Found a way to incorporate Justin Jefferson in the offense. I mean, it says something about this team. Naysayers are going to look at it as struggle. I'm going to look at it as finding a way to win in these character building games. See, this is what these are. These are character building games for the Minnesota Vikings. I know there's a lot of concern out there for Aaron Jones fumbling twice. One fumble we got back, another fumble we didn't. I would love to ask football coaches, because I'm not a football coach. I'm a college basketball coach. But I played football, and I kind of understand the game. You know, if you're running for tough yards, if you're a hard runner like Aaron Jones is, and you have defenders that are coming along trying to punch the ball out, is there a technique to teach that prevents that ball from coming out? Because if you go back and watch the replays, guys are now in the league, it's kind of a trend. Guys are trying to punch that thing out of there. And these aren't small guys that are trying to punch the thing out of there. These are defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties that are coming in full force while you're trying to run as hard as you can, and they are legitimately punching the ball out. See, I think there are different levels to fumbles. And I know everybody is jumping on Aaron Jones, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have to take care of the ball better. I am actually looking for football coaches out there that can enlighten me on how you do that. Because if you cover the ball up with two hands and two arms and create what you call a pocket, you damn sure aren't running as fast and as hard as you can with that technique. So if you got guys trying to punch that thing out, man, you know, I'm not trying to condone the fumbles. I'm just saying that it's hard to be the running back that has made him successful, the style that has made him successful. Man, sometimes it's hard to keep that ball in your arms when you have guys trying to punch it out and you're trying to accelerate down the field. It is what it is. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If there are football coaches out there, let me know. Let me know. There was a glimpse of Justin Jefferson today. I was glad to see him incorporated back into the offense. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 99. Still didn't get in the end zone, but made a great impact on the game today. Johnny Munt, 2 for 22. 1 touchdown. You talk about a guy or an individual that was absolutely ecstatic to get into the end zone. Johnny Munt filling in for Oliver as he recuperates his injury. Jordan Addison, 4 for 54. Key catches down the stretch. TJ Hawkinson, 3 for 28. This is the balance that we've been wanting and talking about for the Minnesota Vikings. Does this feel a little bit different to you guys? See, for me, this feels a little bit different. And I'm not saying, don't get it twisted, I'm not saying this feeling a little bit different is Super Bowl bound. I'm just saying that there are multiple guys on this team that are playmakers. Guys that when you need them will step into the spotlight and will not be able to make and they would be able to make a play. That's what you need in big moments in the playoffs. And this team is destined for the playoffs. I'm not going to try to get into what seed they're going to get, whether or not they're going to be a wild card, whether or not they're going to get a home game, none of that stuff. I'm just saying that the individuals that you have on this team on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively, there are various guys that step up when you need them to step up. You don't get to 10-2 without having that happen. Every week, when we need somebody to make a play, we make a play. And there's going to be a lot of naysayers out there that are going to look at it, well, you know, this Arizona Cardinals team supposedly wasn't supposed to be that good, and we struggled and we struggled and we struggled. Man, look, this is the NFL. And I get it. On any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody. But whenever times get tough and your butt starts to get a little bit tight, doesn't someone step up for the Minnesota Vikings? Whether it's on the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball. Man, that's what I'm just most proud of right now. Is it the perfect game? No. Is it the game that we want to see week in and week out? No. But when you gotta get it, the Minnesota Vikings go get it. And that's the truth. Man, and listen, this Arizona Cardinals team, this team is not as bad as everybody's trying to make them out to be. This team is vastly improved. Kyler Murray is a little spitfire. He's the perfect combination of a quarterback that can throw the ball downfield. He gets a little erratic at times. You saw that in a couple of the throws that he made. And then the key throw at the end of the game for us to get that interception. He gets a little erratic. But for the most part, he had a good day. Running around, the guy is almost impossible to lay hands on and sack. He's fast, man. He's a problem for defensive coordinators. I wouldn't want to see that guy on Sunday if I didn't have to. He's a problem to scheme for because you're always taking somebody out of coverage, if you're smart, to spy on him because he can leave the pocket at any point in time and run the ball down the field. And it gave the Minnesota Vikings a lot of problems today. Great win. Happy with it. There was a point in time I thought, well, this one is over. This will be a loss. They found a way to win. And I'm going to tell you right now, I won't entertain any other thoughts about who the coach of the year is so far. I know we still have some games where we've got to let this thing play out. But the only person that I'm going to listen to in terms of being the coach of the year is Mike Tomlin. And I know the Pittsburgh Steelers were expected to do a little bit this year. They weren't expected to do much. They had a lot of quarterback controversy at the beginning of the year in terms of who they were going to start, Wilson or Field. They get through that, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are winning games. They've stubbed their toe a couple of times, stubbed their toe against the Cleveland Browns. But there is nobody in the stratosphere of KOC right now in terms of being coach of the year. Doesn't mean you can't criticize his play calling. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything he does. But when you look at his body of work this year, with the cast-off that nobody gave a chance to do anything in Sam Darnold, losing a $200 million quarterback and Kirk Cousins jettisoning him to go elsewhere to supposedly the Super Bowl favorites, Atlanta Falcons, because that's what they were being touted as when Kirk Cousins went there. And guys like Mike Florio was saying, oh, what a mistake the Minnesota Vikings made by letting Kirk Cousins go. You still think it's a mistake now? Do you still think it's a mistake? Letting Kirk Cousins go allowed us to plug a lot of holes with all the money that he was holding hostage with the Minnesota Vikings financially. Danielle Hunter being replaced by Grenard, who's a better fit in our defensive scheme than Danielle ever was. And I love Danielle. But Grenard and Van Ginkel, to get players of their caliber to come on this team, Minnesota Viking fans, you would have to agree that the decisions to let these guys go have been optimal to our success and the team that we have built this year. Sam Darnold, $10 million contract. Kirk Cousins, over $100 million, and throwing 4 picks today for the Atlanta Falcons. Still think Kwesi and KOC made a bad decision to let Kirk Cousins go? This week is going to be fun because next Sunday, it's going to be a lot of emotions. It's going to be a lot of emotions for Kirk Cousins. I don't care what Kirk Cousins did today. I don't care what he's been doing all year long. You are going to get the most focused Kirk Cousins that you have ever had during this game. Do you think this man wants to look bad or lose this game coming back to US Bank Stadium? Kirk Cousins is very easy to like. His teammates are going to be more focused than ever. They're not going to want to let him come in and lose this game. On top of that, they need to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Minnesota Vikings better not let Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons come into US Bank Stadium and show out. That can't happen. That can't happen. B-Flow knows Kirk Cousins in and out, his weaknesses, his strengths, and so he better scheme to that. Same way with KOC, because I think it's going to be a dog fight next Sunday in US Bank Stadium, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Skull Nation, UP Nation, Minnesota Vikings Nation, how happy are you right now that the Minnesota Vikings are 10-2? Let me know your thoughts. Don't be afraid to put them in the comments. Don't be afraid to put them in the comments. I love it because you guys know I live in Wisconsin territory and all the Packer fans are silent. And by the way, are the Green Bay Packers one of the luckiest teams on the planet? You got the Bears missing the field goal a few weeks ago at the end of the game. Then they get the San Francisco 49ers without Bosa and Brock Purdy. Unbelievable the luck that they have had the last few weeks. I want to touch on going down the stretch, looking at scheduling and who plays who and who plays what. Listen, if I'm a Detroit Lions fan, I'm telling you right now, I'm a little bit nervous. Because the law of averages says that no matter how good you are, we've seen good teams before. The New England Patriots dynasty, you got the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty, and this is the NFL. There's a lot of parity. The law of averages say you got to lose one sooner or later. They lost their first game of the season, I believe, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they haven't lost since. Detroit Lions fans, do you expect your team to finish the regular season not having lost and then run the table in the playoffs, not losing, and then go to the Super Bowl and not lose? Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. This is the NFL. A lot of parity in the NFL. Losses are coming. Detroit Lions. Losses are coming. And this is not the time, if you're the Detroit Lions, where you want to start losing games. They still have some of the toughest games on their schedule yet to be played. Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills. If I'm the Detroit Lions, I'm a little nervous. This thing looks like a whole lot of winning during the regular season and stubbing their toe down the stretch. See, I like the Vikes. I like the matchup. We should have beat them before. I like the Green Bay Packers. They played the Packers in inclement weather, if you remember that game. Let's see what they can do with the Pack on a dry field at their place. I don't think this thing is sewn up for the Detroit Lions. If you differ, put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Man, the Minnesota Vikings beating the Arizona Cardinals 23-22. I'm hyped up about this. I'm hyped up about that. I will take the ugly loss. I will take the ugly loss because I know it was tough to watch at times, but our boys found a way to win it. Please hit that like and subscribe button. This is Unconventional Playbook. Again, the Minnesota Vikings, 10-2, people. They're 10-2, our Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold, again, no interceptions, making key throws when he needed to make key throws. Oh, man, this is fun to watch. Tough to watch at times, but I'm loving the outcome. This is Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see you when we see you. Have a good night, UP Nation. Minnesota Vikings, 10-2. Latrey, take us home.
I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm the man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am?